With regard to the government corruption that we're seeing, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Fabian Society. So I hear many people saying things such as, the government is stupid, the government is corrupt, why are they making such terrible decisions, or why don't they listen to the people? Well, when you realise that many of the Labor politicians are actually members of the Fabian Society, things start to make sense. The Fabian Society was started in 1884 with the sole purpose of bringing Western society into a state of full-fledged socialism through a process called political gradualism rather than revolution. The Fabian Society is named after Quintus Fabius Maximus, who was well known for overcoming larger military forces by gradually wearing them down. So you can get the idea, right? So if there's a political think tank named after this guy called Fabius, and they're going to use something called political gradualism, well, what they're essentially going to do is wear us down politically until we become a complete socialist hellhole. As I said earlier, the organisation was originally set up in the UK with some prominent members of the UK politics, including former Prime Ministers Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. And in Australia, we've had the likes of Gough Whitlam, Bob Hawke, Julia Gillard and Penny Wong. So there's no need to wonder why these politicians consistently push policy and legislative changes that bring our country closer and closer to full-fledged communism. These people are simply doing what their society expects them to do. From the Fabian Society's own records, they state that from as early as 1887 that they looked to the formation of a strong and independent Labor Party to achieve their goals. One of the prominent members of the Fabian Society from its inception was a man by the name of George Bernard Shaw. Now, I want to share a quote from him because it gives some insight into how the members of this society think. He said, "Under socialism, you would not be allowed to be poor. You would be forcibly fed, clothed, lodged, taught, and employed whether you liked it or not. And if it were discovered that you had not the character and industry enough to be worth all of this trouble, you might be possibly executed in a kindly manner, but whilst you were permitted to live, you would have to live well." If you look at the stained glass window on the Fabian Society, which was designed by George Bernard Shaw, you will see in the top left corner a man wearing purple who is flaming the flames. This represents the royal power being transferred to those on the right, which are in the green and the red, who are creating a new world. You'll notice that those green and red people represent duality. So think left, right wing politics, one figure with green and also having red shoes, and the other is red with green shoes. These two sides are simply part of the same system, much like the red and blue, the left and the right in modern politics. At the bottom, you'll see 10 people worshipping the writings of the Fabian Society. Now take notice to the image above that world that's been created by the left and right. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And what did Jesus say in Matthew chapter 7, verse 15? He said, "Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." So this is clearly them telling you who they are. The Latin writing on the Fabian window translates to "remold it nearer to the heart's desire." And this is a line of Latin from a play by Rubaiyat, who was an Iranian poet, Omar Khayyam. And it may not have actually been a play. I think it might have just been a piece of poetry. But the phrase reflects the Fabian plan to destroy and reconstruct society along their own lines and suggesting a transformative and hidden agenda. So the Fabian Society also uses a tortoise logo highlighting their gradualist approach with the caption, "When I strike hard." Surely this is treason, right? Well, our Constitution clearly stipulates in Section 44 for disqualification of people in public office. It says, disqualification, any person who is under any acknowledgement or allegiance, obedience or adherence to a foreign power, or is subject or a citizen or entitled to the rights and privileges of a subject or citizen of a foreign power. So, are our Labor members and potentially Liberal and other party members under any acknowledgement or allegiance, obedience or adherence to a foreign power? Well, of course they are, which is why we see consistently bad policies that take away our rights and freedoms. Political members are spitting in our faces whilst they continue to bring in the socialist policies and values of the society that they truly represent. Because it's clear, these people do not represent us. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says very clearly, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." We cannot afford to be ignorant of these things, my friends. They've already told us who they are and who they work for, clearly been displayed in the Fabian window with the wolf in sheep's clothing. As Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 10, the thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. So be vigilant, and please share this information with anyone you know who is unaware of these things. These destroyers who are at the helm are not legitimate in any way, but they do exist in positions of power, and it's mostly due to our ignorance. Anyway, guys, stay strong and God bless.